All right. Well, good morning. This is the real estate backstory. We do this every single Monday morning at 9 a.m., where we kind of go over the comings and goings, what we see happening in the real estate market, and try and bring you up to speed so you can have a great week. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker.
My name is Richardson, the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And so we want to kind of jump right into some scams that's kind of going on in the real estate world that we need to make sure that we are keeping our clients abreast of and aware of, and kind of just being wise out there, because unfortunately, anytime there's a market shift, one thing that we see is that people are trying to take advantage of
the market.
Uncertainty and things happening and people not feeling comfortable and not knowing what's going on. And so right now we see a huge number of rental scams. And I know these don't really have anything like we're not scamming anybody in the real estate world, but we have a lot of clients, especially rental clients. It's so easy to kind of get scammed out.
And that's because these people are honest people. They're hardworking, honest people, and they would never have thought of doing something like that. So what the con artists do is that they see what's new inventory and they put an ad in Craigslist and other source of media, and basically meet the client on site. I don't know if they have access to Supra or
no, it's not Supra. Most of the time it's like Open Door and OfferPad and that kind of stuff, where they'll give a code out, or for any kind of manual lock boxes on properties. Anytime that they can get a code to a property, those are ones that they're going to kind of specifically target. And so they'll go to the Open Door house or the OfferPad house or one of these other, or even a legitimate rental kind of thing. Take that sign down. Sometimes they'll put their own sign in the yard. They're going to meet a prospective renter there.
Correct.
And then they'll want to go ahead and collect that.
They'll collect the first month and also the deposit, and do a very minimal background check.
Oh, they say they do. They're just trying to get the money, and then they're out of there.
And your client may be giving out personal information that they shouldn't be giving out. So, they got these folks, Social Security and stuff like that. So just if you know anybody who's looking, doing rental market, make sure that they understand what's, if it's not a national well-known, and they wouldn't know that, honestly, rental property, just tell them, just be aware and consult you.
Well, one of the biggies here is not most, these guys are never going to do a background check.
Correct.
And so if one of the biggest tells is if they're like, oh, I trust you, we don't need to do a background check, your spidey sense should really go off, because I don't know a legitimate landlord out there that does not do a background check.
Well, they may also take your client's information, act like they're legit, and then next thing you know, we got a Social Security fraud.
Yep.
So the other thing is to look out is wire scam.
Wire fraud.
We still wire fraud is very prevalent in our industry still. So, if it's attorney or anything, ask your client to contact the attorney. Put in your contract the attorney contact information and phone number to avoid any mishap or miscommunication.
Let them know if they hear anything about you from you directing them to wire money anywhere. It's wrong, right?
Lenders should not be giving out wire instruction either. I know that sounds weird. I mean, lenders who they trust and to obtain a loan and what have you, but at the same time, it's always better to go to the source. And the last one is the lockout clause.
The lockout clauses. And so we've seen, we had some companies out of Florida coming up into Georgia. And basically what it is they'll offer homeowners like a cash payout right now. And anytime in the future, they're either forced to either sell to that buyer or forced to sell with them as a real estate company. And so that means and that goes into perpetuity. It's one of those things where it gets attached to the deed. And so like that property has to be sold either to them or by them. And so that's I think everybody likes cash right now. Yeah.
There's an investigation going on right now, reference to that, because by the Consumer Protection Agency, just because of the way it's worded, they're in a lawsuit right now.
Now, we also found something very interesting this week. There's a new insurance study out, and so what this study said was actually kind of surprising to me, because and it was all dealing around home burglaries. And, this is just going to help inform your clients, keep them up to speed kind of thing. But they found that, 25% of people leave their front door unlocked, and many folks only lock their door at night. However, the vast majority, like almost 80% of burglaries happen between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. They happen during the day when
Isn't
nobody's
that
there.
amazing?
Yeah. The other one is in the garage. About 25% of home burglaries happen where they gain access through the garage.
And usually you have your
Yeah.
tools and all
Yeah.
your man cave
Yeah.
play toys.
Some of us have a man cave. I think she's kind of hinting at something there. Another quarter comes through unlocked bottom floor windows kind of thing. And so like just securing our property can really help with that a whole lot. Also, the visibility on the house, making sure that security lights are there and that kind of stuff, but much more about like homes that are right on corners tend to get robbed less, and the houses at the end of the cul-de-sacs tend to get robbed more. There's more protection back there. And then if you have an alarm, how about you turn it on? Only about 20% of homeowners in a recent survey said that they don't turn the alarm on during the day.
No.
However, that's when the vast majority of break-ins happen. So I just thought it was interesting information to kind of share out
With your client.
with your
Well,
clients, that kind of thing. Yeah.
honestly, this is a good conversation for you agents out there to have a conversation with a potential client.
Now, I came across a very interesting quote from a famous bassist, a jazz musician, Ray Brown. And he said, the best time to buy a home is always 5 years ago. And I see that so prevalent right now. And I really do think that I can't think of any time when you wouldn't look back and say, man, I wish I had bought 5 years ago. I wish I bought a house 5 years ago. I look back at almost any time in the past, even if you're looking at buying in 2007, by 2012 the market was back, right? And so it's one of those things where it's very easy to look back and say, gosh, I wish I had bought in this time and that time.
And
But
just like renters, if you think about it, Alan, the renters, I mean, they're paying someone else's.
no, and we're going to be showing
investment.
that, but I guess what I'm saying here is that in 5 years from now, there's people going to be looking back at this market saying, I wish I had bought then. And so we need to be able to remind folks of that, because when you look at a lot of the financial news, especially as it impacts real estate, there's a lot of things going on there. And so like one of the biggest deals that we have right now is the ugly inflation word right now. And so when you look at why are interest rates so much higher, inflation. And I know that sounds weird in a way, but see, inflation is what is causing the feds to raise the federal funds rate. When they raise the federal funds rate, it's not that it's raising our mortgage rates, it's that it's causing a lot of market volatility. And when that happens, more people move to very secure assets such as 10-year treasuries.
Right.
And the more people that invest in 10-year treasuries, the higher the rates go. And so we have a lot of people moving in there. And so mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury. And see, right now, Fed Chair Powell, he came out and said that from a sort of a business cycle, this difficult correction should put the housing market back in balance. And I have a real problem with that, because what the Fed is doing is actually making the real estate market more out of balance, if I'm being real honest with you.
Well, if you look at our market right now, home affordability for first time home buyer is nil. And unfortunately, with his perspective, he's saying that by doing increase inflation, this is going to bring basically what it does is that the demand is much less. And
we are seeing
we're seeing the demand is dropping.
But see the real challenge
does not cure the issue.
Well, but see, like real estate is a source of higher consumer pricing. There's just no doubt. But the raising interest rates thing is not one of those that is affecting housing in that direct way. As a matter of fact, it's kind of the exact opposite. So this is a consumer price index from a year ago. And so you can see that even though they keep raising rates, that property values are still holding high. And when property values are high, rental rates are high. And so what people are paying in rents is continuing to go up. When the Fed, raises interest rates, even though it's not directly raising our mortgage rates, it is causing so much volatility that people move into 10-year treasuries. So now, even though property values are not growing at the exact same pace, but because of the rise of interest rates, when the new mortgages today are hundreds and hundreds of dollars more than even than because of right now we're at 6.29, I believe. And so, that's really, really tough. But the Feds are kind of doubling down on it. So this past Wednesday, they went in with another 3/4 of a point jump in there. And so they're expecting that we're at 4.4 by the end of the year.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
higher than back in 2008, 2009, 2007 before the market crashed.
yeah,
So, is the market crashing? It depends on
Yeah.
what federal's doing. Honestly, if the rates keep on going up, it's going to make the house affordability impossible. And so either folks will have to go ahead and just rent indefinitely.
well, it's going to be really. We'll look at rental rates though, because the rental market is no place or no safe refuge
No, it's not.
for folks right now. So our primary mortgage this week is coming in at 6.29, and so again, that's following the 10-year Treasury yield is at its highest level since 2011. And so we're seeing where that, because it is a safe investment, and because those values are better right now, more people are moving into that. Now, all that being said, when you really look at what's happening in the real estate market, we have to look at what's happening to, on the real estate sales side of things, but also what's happening with our general consumers. And for most of our consumers out there, especially for our sellers are in really, really good shape. So here in the South, if you look at just here in the South, overall total sales was down around 19%. So the total number of sales is down. However, the median price
Was 356,000.
and that's up 12.5%. And so we're still in double-digit price growth. Now, nationally, it's not the same case. Nationally, property value appreciation came in at 7.7%. And so a little over 7% is where, and so we're seeing where, the Sun Belt here in Georgia, we are not one of those historically or terribly overpriced markets that really went through the roof kind of thing. We did have a lot of price appreciations, but we're not a decelerating market. Now, we aren't growing at the same clip. However, 12.5% still pretty, really strong property value increase. And for most of our sellers, this is still a really good place to be. Not really good. This is much better. I mean, normal home appreciation over the last 50 years comes in at 4.4%. So we're still 3 times what that really is. Now, that being said, at the same time, what we are seeing is we're seeing pending home sales drop. So pending home sales is down another 4%. And so we're seeing where that number continues to kind of taper down.
And this is a national index.
Yeah, this is from NAR. And so I'm going to share some more national numbers with you here, kind of thing. So the first one is that bidding wars have dropped to the lowest level since April 2020, which is, during, right in the height of COVID, that kind of stuff. So we're seeing where less and less bidding wars are going on. That being said, what we're kind of seeing is that bidding wars are very much price sensitive. We're seeing where, if the home is priced properly, and especially if it's under, for most of outside OTP, if you get under 300,000, under 250, that's where we're seeing the greatest amount of pressure when it comes to where the bidding wars really are kind of running at that point. Now, at the same time, home prices, they say home prices fell by 1%. That's nationally. However, nationally, it's still up 7% year over year. That's over a 1 month. And so that just means that the price of it's not decelerating. It's just not accelerating as quickly.
And what it means is that it was 8.4 last year, and now 7 point whatever that was.
Yeah.
But so that, it's still accelerating, even though with a 1% decrease.
Yeah. So now you can see the total number of home sales fell, but you can still see that's, we're at a level back around 2016, 17, 18 kind of thing. And so it did fall 2%, just the total number of sales. We're still in really good shape. We know that we're not going to hit the same numbers that we hit in 21, 20, 2021,
20 and 2021.
that kind of stuff. So, seasonally adjusted new listings fell 8% in August. So, we knew, the total number of new listings coming on the market is less. And so what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of sellers react to the market that we're in. Like, I can stay where I'm at my 3.5% mortgage, or I can go out and get a 6.5% mortgage. And so what we're seeing is a lot of sellers are holding back right now. New listings are down, and it's not just here in Georgia, it's everywhere. But I'll show you the breakdown of just our numbers. And so overall, seasonally adjusted home sales fell 1% in August. However,
year to year,
well, but if you look at over last year, home sales are up 2.7% over last year for last month. And so we are seeing where seasonally adjusted home sales are not, year over year. Yeah, they fell in 1 month, but they're still over prior year. The time of market went up to 26 days, so it's 5 days more. So we are seeing slightly higher days on market, but a lot of that is fueled by the number of prices. Well, but the number of properties that have been on the market for a while.
Yeah.
And so, for the first time since COVID, we are at under 100% of list to sale price ratio. So now we're at 99.9999. But that being said, we are seeing more moderation. That being said, also look at where we are compared to every other year for the last 10 years. We're still vastly
above the curve.
Thank you. Thanks. Above the curve. That's a good way to put it. And so, but that being said, we know about 22% of the properties are taking price reduction, 1 out of 5. And that's really, really significant out there. And so, where we price our properties right from the very beginning, coming out and making sure that we are, being wise about where we're pricing our property, not throwing it out there and seeing what's going to happen. That kind of thing is not healthy. And you end up having to take more and more price reductions. So here in the Atlanta area, our median sales price. And so, I gave you national numbers. Let's go and look at just the national, here in the Atlanta area. So in Atlanta, overall total sales price was down 2.2% from last year. However, we are still 15.6%. So we're greater than the 12% for the whole South, right? The whole all in South was a little over 12.
National average right now.
We're well above the national average. We're well above that. And so, our median, our median sales price is still continuing, to grow. Number of homes sold, however, we're down about 20% on the total number of homes, just in the volume of homes. We're selling less homes right now. Now, for most realtors, we work based on commission. It's a pretty close wash. We're up about 15, 16%. We're down about 20% in sales. So, the numbers are working out for most realtors. That being said, it's getting to be a competitive market out there. New listings, however, here in the Atlanta area, new listings are down by 17.6%. We have 16%.
That's year over year. So
it is.
That's not from last month. So last month we're down by 9.2 last month versus last year this time.
But new listings, normally this is a time of the year where we get more listings come on the market and we have less buyers. Yes, we have less buyers, but we also have less listings coming on the market right now as well. And then, as far as like total number of homes for sale, even though we have all that, we know the inventory is increasing. That being said, the total of all homes for sale is only up 6%. So we only have a 6% increase in our total inventory. And we are at we're short about 4.5 million homes inside the US. We've got a huge millennial population that's coming into first-time home buyer range over the next 4 years. And we only have 6% more listings than we had, which was already at the lowest level we've ever had, basically, since World War II. So, there's a lot of things going on with the housing market, but we're still in really, really good shape. And that's the thing we have to understand about that. Know what's going on with our market. Yes, we are seeing where interest rates are really making it a challenge for so many of our buyers. especially those are first time buyers. They don't have that property value appreciation that our repeat sellers have. I mean, repeat buyers have. But that being said, home values are still holding really, really steady. We're not getting enough new listings. We need more listings, but the challenge there is where's our sellers going to move to, and be able to kind of fetch the same monthly payments that they're fetching right now. And until we see those interest rates taper off, I think that's going to continue to be a challenge for us on that side.
Well, and until there's new inventory for a ranch 1500, when the older generation are looking down downsizing, and that's in a what I call a desirable community where they're used to live in certain type of style, come down. I mean, it's nearly impossible.
Well, but we're seeing where that is the kind of the correction that the market, the real estate market is taking in reaction to the interest rates.
Correct.
So, we have less inventory, we have less people wanting to list their house and wanting to move on that side of things. So, at the same time, building, we've been very hopeful that new construction could kind of add some more inventory for us. And overall, there was a bright spot that, housing starts jumped up by 12% in August. However, of that, only 3.4% was single family. Multifamily was up almost 30%.
Yeah.
And so multifamily for us in residential real estate is not a great sign. Now, building apartments, while we need more housing overall, we know that wealth in the United States is tied up in home ownership. So we want more people to own than to rent, because if you rent now and you rent in the next 5 years, you're not going to have any appreciation. You're not going to have any value in there, kind of thing. And so, heading forward, building permits are down 10%, and single families down still another 3.5%. So we are concerned about having, where's our inventory going to come from with less people listing their homes and less new construction coming on the market. You can see how the market is reacting to these interest rates. And so, even though our buyer demand is down, our availability of properties is down. Real estate is still tied highly to supply versus demand. And so we still have more demand than we have supply to meet it. And that's why we're not seeing prices drop. And that's why we won't see them drop in there.
And with Fed raising their rates, I just think that they're going to make it next to impossible for home affordability.
I'm not going to go next to impossible kind of thing. That might be a little bit of a
starters,
yeah.
Unless
it makes it hard. There's no doubt.
Unless there's multiple income, there's no longer where single income can afford a starter home.
Well, but the challenge is that you have to, but that being said, rental markets are not, and I'll show that in just a moment. Rental markets are not a safe haven. So to say that, gosh, you should just stay and rent, that's not true either, kind of thing. So overall, builder confidence is down for 9 straight months. You can see kind of where it's been running, and so we kind of understand. Now, what you and I were just talking about is the rental market. And so this is the median rent year over year, and you can see that right now it's median rents are running roughly about 15%. Oh gosh, what's that close to? Property value appreciation, right, is about 15%. And so you can see that what's happened with the median rents is that it continued to move up. So as property value, rent is based on the value of the property. And so like the idea that our renters, well, you know what, it's getting expensive to buy homes, so we'll just rent. That's not realistic. That's not a viable option for our buyers out there.
Actually start, and they will have a contract where it state every year it move up by 5%. I've seen landlord have adjust those numbers to a much higher percentage than the original agreement, and the buyer are left with either a choice of paying for the higher rent or relocate.
And you can see where, the rates are still higher across studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bathroom in there. It's still, there isn't oh, you should be looking at 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. It's across the board.
There's just not that much available, y'all.
Now,
and that's why we start our beginning line about, if you are talking to a client, tell them please beware of the rental fraud.
Now, for the first time, Open Door is now selling homes for a loss, which is a really interesting. Like, let me back up. First of all, Open Door's never made a penny, as far as actual real money. Now, they've made money
Okay.
on their unit sales. So, like, they buy for this much, they sell for this much. But by the time I mean, like, you can't turn the TV or internet on without seeing an ad, basically, for Open Door. And so by the time they put all their corporate expenses, all that kind of stuff, Open Doors never made money.
Marketing and
And
admin.
yeah, that kind of stuff. So, they would show some unit economics up until recently. So now Open Doors buy to sell premium is actually they're actually it's costing them money to sell houses now. And then they still have those other expenses built in there. So, you can kind of see that they show, the purple line shows what happened with Zillow when this happened. Y'all remember when Zillow was buying houses kind of thing, and then they started losing money. Now, Zillow saw that they were losing money and got the heck out of Dodge. I'm not saying, Open Door's model is different than Zillow. So just saying that because Open Door is seeing similar buy to sell premiums,
Correct.
that doesn't mean that Open Door is going by the way of the dodo. I don't mean that. They have a ton of money, and so they are cash strapped. However, that number is going to keep getting eaten up if they don't figure out what they're going to do on that. And so as the market has been softening, especially across the entire US, that's been a real challenge for them. And I only bring this up because, like we are seeing where on Open Door properties, we're seeing where they're operating. If the property sits with Open Door for any amount of time, they're going to raise the commissions. So we're seeing we're 3.5% commissions out there on a lot of Open Door properties, that kind of stuff. The longer it sits, the better they're doing on that. They're taking more price reductions because they're not going to sit on inventory, which I think is
They
great.
can't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse than stale inventory, and
Yep.
they always have to make it fresh. Otherwise,
So, they're keeping it real on that side of
right.
things. So we still have our replays, and no, it's not coming. It is here in all of our partners' offices out there.
So please reach out to the
Yep.
branch manager, schedule your time.
And then this week, the only CE that we have going on this week is Wednesday from 9:30 to 12:30, we're teaching GAR Contracts 101. That's going to be at the Metro South Association of Realtors office over in Morrow. So I hope that you can kind of come and join us. It's basically GAR Contracts 101. We go through scenarios and that kind of stuff. So
Be fun. Come join us.
Yep. So I hope you guys have a great week. And we can be any kind of service. Please call, text, smoke signals. Let us know. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.